The second one, though, I think is really important. And it is as follows, the cross-functional success metrics. If you think about our MBOs, our KPIs, most all of them, 80, 90%, perhaps 100%, are function specific, where it's just within marketing. How many leads are we driving? How many sales qualified leads do we get at the very bottom of the funnel there? And then they're done. From a sales perspective, your quota is your KPI that way. How many deals, what your quota attainment is, things that way here. But rarely do you see shared success metrics. David Hewlett was the founder of Hewlett-Packard. It was the first startup here in Silicon Valley. And he had once said something that was very prescient. He said, show me how someone is measured, and I will show you how they behave. And that is so true. We see that again. And so if we have function-specific KPIs, our people will function in a function-specific environment that way. Whereas if we give them shared success metrics, where the marketing team will only succeed if sales succeeds, or the product development or product management team will succeed only if they work closely with marketing. So one of the things that I've had to do is actually change some of the KPIs so that this way, for example, marketing and sales own certain targets together, where marketing's quota is around sales accepted leads, not marketing generated leads. So this way, sales and marketing have to work together that way. And it's surprising to see how quickly marketing and sales view each other as companions and help for each other to make those numbers here. So shared success metrics, I would actually ask you to look at each of these two different functions that have to work together, whether it's product and marketing, marketing and sales, sales and customer support, and see what are those shared success metrics and measure them, compensate them, look at promotions based upon that. Lastly, from a people standpoint, I'd like to have you think of one company that you admire who has been just so strong and so successful. And as you think about that in your mind, I would bet one of the things you think about is not just, as I said, great technology or great execution, but they probably hire really, really great people. My belief is that the people are the glue that keep go-to-market IP together. Let me repeat that. It is the people, there's the glue that keeps the go-to-market IP together, not just systems, not just cross-functional success metrics. Part of the way you and I as leaders are measured is based upon the quality of the people that we bring on board. And therefore, if we bring on people that are much more we-oriented, not just I-oriented, and really vet them through the interview process, where it's very much team-based mindset versus individual, what's in it for me mindset, that makes a huge difference. The other thing that I find, though, that we can do as leaders is model that team culture behavior by not only who we promote, the people who are much more team-oriented, but even the awards that we provide them. Awards are things that could be as simple as a certificate or some type of a plaque that recognizes them for a certain aspect, but is trying to model the type of reward, the type of behavior that we want to model for the rest of them. I've gone to some of my team offices around the world, and literally 2 or 3 years after receiving an award, I still see somebody's award proudly displayed on their desk, where they're able to say, this is what I did for that. And though the power of awards or public recognition, but of rewarding the type of behavior we want to model for the rest of the team has a positive ripple effect for that. So those are the three aspects of go-to-market IP I wanted to share with you, of systems, cross-functional success metrics, and people. So in finalizing things, go-to-market IP and escape velocity in terms of great growth and scale can be something that all companies can have, not just for those elite, privileged few, large companies that have a lot of resources. You can accomplish this as well as you look at these three different aspects of go-to-market IP. And so one of my favorite quotes actually is from a German philosopher, Goethe, who said, the greatest thing in this world is not so much where we stand as in what direction we're moving. My hope is that we take this content here and look at our IP and move from what has been function-specific IP, but truly to go-to-market IP cross-functionally. That, my friends, will help be a great scale factor. Those are the things I wanted to share with you. I hope that's been helpful. Let's go ahead and open it up now for Q&A.
Todd, thank you first and foremost. This was awesome. It was I loved particularly two things. So one, and if there are any questions in the meantime, feel free to write them in the chat. We'll be picking them up from there. That idea of the growth, optimizing for the growth train versus the different train cars. Loved it. And then one thing that I was thinking while you were going through your talk track was like, this is great in theory, but then in practice, you get people all the time and departments all the time that tend to revert back to their own KPIs and to their own systems and models of behaviors. And so it's tricky, right? And I think like you addressed this actually in the second part where you were saying the key thing that really stood out to me is the more you can be intentional in creating interdependencies between functions and department, the more you are really modeling out a system that self-selects towards certain behaviors. And I think that is like disproportionately powerful.
It is. And what I find that as we build these KPIs with shared success metrics, that helps people realize, what do we really value? How will they be measured for that? But it's not just with the KPIs, even with the weekly or monthly team meetings, highlighting those things of how people are working together, those success points between different functions there. You can keep repeating that aspect on a weekly or monthly basis. That helps change that team culture or that mindset of, hey, we really have to work together to be successful.
Really underlining the things that you want to incentivize and you want to see more happening within the organization, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
Love that. Todd, this was great. Thank you so much for doing this. Kathy is asking if you have any reading suggestions to learn more about this idea.
I do. In fact, Harvard Business Review had a really great article I'll share with you. And actually, I can put that a little bit later. Is quite good. There's another one in terms of just scale, a book that I'll share with you. It's called Blueprint to a Billion. And so I'll get that. But basically, how do you codify? How do you create a playbook to get a business to $1 billion? And so, Kathy, I'll go ahead. Great question. I'll go ahead and I'll get this to Armando, both the URL for the book as well as for the Harvard Business Review article, which I think is quite helpful. So I'll get that to you.
Love it. And I would like another soundbite as I'm digesting and processing your session is this idea of systems that grow, like compound growth over time, right? Like we talk constantly about scale, but the reality is that for most companies, scale is a tomorrow's problem. But like the way to really accelerate the path from today to tomorrow is thinking about the things that start going in that direction already, and that over time, provided that you are, more like successful in executing against them, they become even more and more relevant, which I think is particularly compelling as well.
That's true. Exactly. And you are right that many times we think of scale as just short term, next quarter, next month types of things. But if we have something where it requires time, but if we have sort of more of a bigger, audacious goal, next year we want to be doing X, Y, and Z, it gives you the time to be able to put things into place that you can then start building that scale.
Loved it. Todd, thank you so much. We're going to open up the stages in a few minutes. So I'll see you back.
Thank you very much, Armando.